Child Q situation.
Yes.
Obviously, we don't know her full name because, just to protect her privacy and stuff. And I'm sure everyone has heard of what happened. But essentially, the short version is that teachers suspected her of smelling like weed, which is, again, a very common justification used to like search someone.
Right.
We spoke about that last week with Eric Boateng Taylor, Carter Jr., who got stopped and shirts for wearing a coat, stuff like that. And they always use these kinds of silly justifications to abuse,
right,
abuse their power. And in this situation, I believe the teachers initially like searched her first, right? And then upon finding nothing, went ahead to go and call the police, which came and decided it was a good idea to actually like strip search her. And again, if that wasn't like as traumatizing, just based on that, right? She was on her period as well, which is,
of course,
which makes the situation like far more traumatic. And it's like,
and a 15-year-old,
yeah. And it's like, there's so much wrong with policing in school in general.
Right.
But like when you see this happening like again and again and again, it's like, how long before, I don't know, people still would say that like structural racism in the education system isn't really an issue. When you're seeing black kids or like non-white kids in general being disproportionately targeted for things like this.
It says a lot, I think the adultification of black children in itself is a massive problem. Sure, we may be living in a time where we may be seen as individuals, as people, but you have to remember that to someone who's grown up in an environment where they haven't spent much time with someone of an ethnic minority background, there's a very high chance they're going to see that 15-year-old as a 18, 19-year-old who's a threat.
Definitely.
And we saw that with Child Q.
Exactly. And as you were saying, just adultification is a very big problem for black people that we have to deal with, constantly treating us as though we're older than we are. And like on its surface doesn't seem like a big deal, but like when you examine situations like this, especially when it comes to like searches and stuff, it's very, it can be very traumatic for a kid to be treated as though they're like a full-grown adult.
Right.
You're essentially criminalizing the kid at that point, which can have like many like subsequent issues.